So to continue my report about my cruise, the next day was another day where we were at port, and this was on the island of Haiti on a place called Labadee. And the ship docks at this peninsula. And again, it's land that's owned by Royal Caribbean. So it's really pretty and well kept up, and very nice beach atmosphere, but it's still like really controlled. Like there's employees all over the place wearing these polo shirts telling you what you can do, what you can't do, stay off those rocks, don't go too close to this and whatnot. So it kind of has that fake feel. I had stayed up late for that 80s dance party and stuff the night before. And a lot of the girls were getting up early, again, to get a good spot at the beach. Well, I was like, I'm not getting up early. I want to sleep in a little bit. So I wound up missing the crowd that went off to the beach. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll find them when I get off the beach. So Sarah and I both had kind of the same plan. So we got off the ship a little late after having breakfast. And we just started kind of walking around this peninsula, which was really pretty. We stopped at a lot of places and took pictures. And just was kind of hoping that we would run into the crowd, run into our friends, and if not, no biggie. So we kind of meandered around and wound up going through like this little village that shopping and gifts and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, the people that were trying to sell us stuff was like piranhas, just like coming after us, really hard sell stuff. So we didn't spend much time there. Even though there was probably some really cute stuff, I just wanted to get the hell out of there because people were coming at us, trying to sell us stuff in such an annoying way. Such an annoying way. So we wandered around a little bit and saw part of the peninsula and found this little bar. We kind of hung out, and there was this woman there, and she offered to take our picture together. And she said, "Oh, you've got such nice legs," which of course made me feel great. At one point, I had Sarah video me going up to the bar wearing my bikini, and I kind of wish she hadn't because I don't look as good in the bikini as I thought I did, but I guess that's part of life, right? So we wound our way around, and as we're heading back to the ship, there was like this really picturesque spot. So I'm like, oh my gosh, here, take a picture of me. So I took my beach bag, and oh my gosh, my phone is gone, and my ID to get back on the ship. And I started having a little panic attack. I'm like, oh crap, trying to think of all the things that could go wrong. One of the problems that we couldn't communicate to anybody because there's cell service is almost non-existent. So we were like, okay, let's just retrace our steps. Now we had been walking, meandering around for like hours, two hours plus. And I know I had used my cell phone because I had taken pictures of us, but it had been a while. So we started retracing our steps, and we were walking along the beach that we had been walking on, and I'm like, let me just talk to somebody. So I went over to the lifeguard, and I'm like, where do I find a lost and found? Because I lost my cell phone and my ID. And he's like, well, what does your cell phone look like? And I described it, and I told them the name of my ID, which of course was my male name. And he's like, oh yeah, I found it right here. It was right on the edge of the water. So like, holy crap, like first person I talked to, and he's got it right there. So that was lucky, and there was no damage to my cell phone, even though it was a little bit wet. Luckily they make them now where they're water resistant. So little disaster averted. But we start going back to the ship, and just before we got back to the ship, there's this little hill you can climb. with some overlooks. So we went up the hill and we took some pictures overlooking the harbor with the ship in it. And there's this guy wearing one of those polo shirts, like he works for the area, and he's kind of lingering around us. And I'm like, are we doing something that we shouldn't be doing? And he kind of is following us, and I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable. And I said, and he asked us something. I don't know, he had a thick accent. And I'm like, oh, we're just gonna go back to the ship. And he's like, go this way. And I was like, oh, the ship, this way goes back to the ship? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'd rather go a different way than the way we came. So we followed him, and there was another overlook there, and actually an even better one. So we took some pictures there, and he offered to take some pictures. And we're like, oh, thank you, you're very nice. But he was kind of just hanging around us, and I didn't quite get it. And we asked him some questions. We were being really pleasant. You know, are you from here? Where did you grow up? And he was like, yeah, I'm from here, whatever. So then we wanted to go back to the ship. And he's like, go this way. We're like, no, we're going to go back to the ship. And he was like trying to lead us this way. And we went this way. And then he like caught up to us. And he was like, can I get a tip? I'm like, oh, man. So you've been following us around because you're wanting us to tip us. And I was just so annoyed at feeling like he was tricking us that I just kind of gave him a dirty look and walked off. And I know those people don't have any money, and that's the only way. But he was wearing the polo shirt, and he was acting like one of the employees. But when I looked closer, he was just some guy from the village that was trying to mooch tips off people. I know they're an impoverished country, and they don't have many ways to making money, but he just kind of ticked me off. So anyway, we finally got back on the ship, and we had some time to kill. So we went to the pool for a little while, and then, just kind of wandered around and went and got some food and whatnot. And then it was time for dinner, which was Caribbean night. So that's why I'm wearing this dress. It was Caribbean night. So this is my Caribbean outfit. I had some wedge heels that I wore that night, but it's not these, although these would have worked really well. And I wore them all night until right at the end they broke. So those didn't make it home, sadly, but oh well, saved room in my luggage. So Caribbean night was really fun. We got dressed up, we went to dinner, went and got the professional pictures again. So dinner was really fun. The waiters did that thing that they sometimes do on the cruise ships where they will like start dancing in the aisle and encourage other people to get up and dance with them. And so they were doing the Macarena. And so of course I had to, it's dancing. I had to get up and start dancing with them. So I had a good time dancing with them. And there were lots of people that were like around the tables around us. And they were like really loving that we were dancing up in the aisle. We actually really got along with the tables near us. We were talking to them, and they enjoyed our company as well. So that was kind of fun as well. I have noticed, if you'll see the video, that when I dance, as a guy, I kind of keep my arms down. But girls often raise their hands, and I realized that I maybe shouldn't be doing that because my arms look like flippers when I'm waving around as a girl. So, I don't know, we learn things all the time, right? So that was a little bit different, and every night has had like its own like special flavor, and as true of the next couple nights, which I'll tell you about soon.